Hello once again and welcome back. After setting up our entities, we are going to go ahead and see on how we are going to add the entity framework that will help us with the database stuffs, and we are going to see on how to add the connection string, and you are going to see on how to register the application DB context into the program.cs dependency injection. And all of that, we'll be achieving that in this video, and it's going to be somehow a hair of a long video, but worth it. Before we do anything, we need to install the required packages. And to install the packages, as we install the NuGet gallery, I'm going to press Ctrl+Shift+P, and to really bring this console, and I'm going to say NuGet gallery. So it's going to open the NuGet gallery in here. And I'm going to search for the packages that we need so as to be able to set up the entity framework. I'm going to say entity framework, and I'm going to install both this for core and this for design. And these for tools, maybe if we install this for core, it is going to install these tools. So I'm going to go ahead and start by this one, and I'm going to install this into my API project and into the infrastructure project. And make sure to change the version. As we are using the .NET 7, make sure I choose this as 7.0.14, which is now the current .NET 7 release. I'm going to go ahead and press on install, and you can see now this is done installing. I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and to will clear up the terminal, and I'm going to install this for design as we are going to be using the databases. I'm going to leave this also checked, and I'm going to check to change the version to 7 and press install. And once this is complete, I'm going to go ahead and press enter again so as to be able to have a clean workspace. And the other package that we need to install will be the one for PostgreSQL, and I'm going to say npg-sql, and I'm going to install this one for entity framework. I'm going to go ahead and press here, and for this case I'm going to go ahead and check all of these and make sure to choose 7. This, and this is now the current version. I'm going to go ahead and press on install and wait. And once this is done, again I'm going to go ahead and press enter. And for now, those are all the packages that we need. I'm going to go ahead and close this NuGet gallery. It has done a tremendous job, and I'm going to close it for now. And inside let me try to collapse this. Inside my infrastructure, I'm going to go ahead and create another folder, and I'm going to call this as data. Okay, and inside this data folder, this is where now I'm going to add my application DB context. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead and do right click, new C#. I'm going to say cross, and I'm going to call this as application DB context, like this, and press enter. And this application DB context is going to be deriving from the DB context, so I'm going to add this and say it's going to be from DB context, and press enter. You can see that it is going to import these automatically because this will be from entity framework core. And after we do that, we need to create a constructor out of this. I'm going to go into this application DB context and press Ctrl dot, and to ask us to generate the constructor with this one and this one with the options. And I'm going to choose the second one, which will be looking like this. And again, inside here, I'm going to be adding all the entities, and the entities that I'm going to be using here are the entities that we created earlier, and these entities will be treated as database tables, and they will behave in the way that we're going to configure. For the first, we need, for example, to add a property, and this property will be it will be a DB set. We are going to be using a DB set. And this DB set, we have to take a type, and the type that is going to take will be, for example, a product type. And this product type will be having the name, and this name will be the one that will be set in the database, and it will be now the name for the table. So I'm going to call this as product types, and let me stick with the suggestion, and I'm going to copy this code multiple times so as to be able to change here, and we don't have to repeat the same code again and again. So I'm going to use this for product brand, and I'm going to call this as product brands, like this one, and this will be for the product. Okay, and also here for the products. All right, and what this will do, it will try to take this type, to take all the properties, and to use those properties as the database properties or the database fields. It will do the same for all of these. And after we are done with this, we're going to see on how to add now what we call a connection string. And we need a connection string as we need to connect to our database, and we need to see on how this is done. So I'm going to go into my API project, and I'm going to go to app settings.development.json, and after the logging, let me see where it ends. This is where it is. I'm going to add another section for the connection strings, like this one, and inside this connection string we need to give this a name. I'm going to call this as shop, and the shop will have a value, and the value that we're going to add here is the exact connection string. We will start by declaring the server, and we're going to say that it will be a local host. And on the connection string, we don't get any type safety, as we are going to write these as strings. Make sure you don't make any typo, because if you make a typo, it is not going to work and it can cause a headache. So I'm going to say that database will be called, this is the name that I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it as shop, db shop it, like this one. This is the name that I gave it, and depending on the nature of your application, you can go ahead and call your database other name that you need. And I'm going to specify the port, and the port for default will be 5432. And again, we need to specify the user ID, and this will be also the user that we added. So I'm going to say user, and I'm going to add the space, and I'm going to add ID. This will be equal to we set this as Postgres. Remember, when you were installing the Postgres database, this is the name, the name of the user that we set. And I'm going also to add the password, and the password that I set, I'm going to tell you this for now, and I set this as Luanda, like this one. You can go ahead and change according to the nature of your application, and you have to double check to see if you didn't make any typo or whatsoever. And if you are feeling that you made anything great, you can go ahead and exit this. But before I go, I can see that I use double S here, and that's not how it is. I think this is Postgres with single S. And after we are done, I'm going to go ahead and close this file, and we're going to go into the program.cs, and you see on how we're going to inject our application DB context into our dependency injection. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to go into the program.cs, and below here, before the app, and I'm going to register a new service. I'm going to say builder.services, and I'm going to say add DB context, and I'm going to choose the class as application DB context. All right, and after adding these, I'm going to go ahead and add some of the options that we need to use. You can go ahead and say options, or I can use like opt, and this opt really goes to, and I'm going to open the curly braces like here, and I'm going to bring this down so as to be able to see that this is in the opening and the other one is for closing. And inside here, I'm going to say that opt dot use npgscale, like this one. This is now the one for Postgres, and I'm going to go into the configuration so as to be able, I'm going to go into builder dot configuration, and I'm going to get now the section on where the connection string is. I'm going to say get connection string. Here it is, and the connection string that we're going to be getting will be the one for shop. After getting all of these, we can go ahead and close this statement right here, and again we are going to go ahead and close this correct, this one. And after doing all of these, we are now sure that we added now both our application DB context class, we added the connection string, and also we registered the service into the program.cs. And after this, we are going to see on how we can use what we call code first migration, and we will see that in the next video. So see you there.